let's start by acknowledging the land that we're on. We're on Blackfoot territory right here, right now. Right now, this is the land of the Gunai, Siksika, Pagani. The Blackfeet south of the imposed U.S.-Canadian border were separated because of the imposed U.S.-Canadian border. In 1877, signatories started to include for Treaty 7, the Stoney Nakoda, which are now Wesley Bearspaw and Chiniki nations. We also have the Tsuut'ina, which are my cousins. I'm Dene, Satu Dene. I always acknowledge all of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, status and non from all across Turtle Island as the keepers of these lands. Because of the 60 Scoop, a lot of folks actually don't know who they are, but they know they're Indigenous, and I want to acknowledge you and your ancestors. So with that, I'm just going to pass the mic over to our elder. Dakota, we thank you so much for coming. We've already done the protocol of giving her tobacco, but I'll let her speak.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming out to support some really, really good causes that I think socially we all need today. Mother Earth doesn't have a voice, so we are her voice. And on that note, I'm going to start off with a prayer here.
Thank you for coming, because I think that we should be teaming up together as Indigenous people and people who care about our Mother Earth. And this mic is open for everybody to talk to, and especially encourage the youth, because I'm hoping in the next 10 years, 20 years, you're going to be the ones standing here. And well, maybe by then we'll have dismantled the system. Let's hope. But we need everybody to be on board in order to do that, and this is a big team effort, and last year was a really big counter-protest, and I'm really grateful that we're here all together. So we're probably going to start singing some songs. Yes? Would you like to speak?
Sure.
All right.
Dans Moscow Mtsiga Sud, Mimio Sagagon, Moscow Egon Yamaga. I said my name is Moscow, my spirit name. I'm from Pigeon Lake, Moscow area. So what we're doing here today, we're protesting the RCMP, the colonial government, going onto Wet'suwet'en lands. So it's basically a colonial invasive government going onto lands that are unceded and unsurrendered. The Indian Act Chief and Council have signed off and gave their consent, but the hereditary chiefs and a lot of the people out there didn't. So prior informed consent is a huge thing. You can't go and build a pipeline like they did the original one. They didn't get prior informed because they didn't even tell anybody. They just went ahead and built it, and now they're building another one on top of that. So I think it's just really important that we're here to stand in front of Trans-Canada Corporation headquarters and kind of send them a message that, hey, we're standing with Wet'suwet'en people. Don't go on their land unless you have their prior informed consent. As Indigenous people, we have laws. We live by natural laws and creators' laws. One of them is there's Pastahoan and there's Asinuin. Asinuin is not breaking laws against anything other than human. That's animals. That's the earth. So when a chief calls himself traditional and goes and signs a contract for a pipeline, he's not really being a traditional because he's not living by the traditional ways of our people. What Western society calls natural resources, us Indigenous people call our relatives, because everything is connected, all the land, all the air, all the water, every single one of us. So that's what we have to, everybody, I know a lot of you already know this, but we have to start teaching other people out there, whether it be online or in your sphere of influence in school or at work, teaching them that we are connected to everything. We're not just one individual person. Human beings are not above all the rest of nature. We have to start teaching others this. I know a lot of you are here because you already understand that. But I'd just like to say thank you for coming out, and let's sing some songs and send some messages here. Hey, hey. No access.
Without consent!
No access.
Without consent!
No access.
Without consent!
One time, real loud. No access.
Without consent!
With a lot of passion. It comes with prayer every single time we sing that song. And when I'm singing it, I'm thinking of all the missing, all the murdered Indigenous women that have been killed over the course of Canada and these pipelines existing. The amount of Indigenous that are killed globally because of the policies that come straight from downtown Calgary. If people only knew the power that we have to enforce new policies, to enforce new laws so they cannot exploit other people. Unistoten camp of the Wet'suwet'en people. These folks have been attacked by the RCMP last year at this time. And right now, today, a lot of their comms are being jammed today. And there's more RCMP that are coming to their lands because they just kicked out Coastal GasLink. Nationally, we know what this means. We've had our comms be jammed before during Idle No More. We had it during Standing Rock, and now the Unistoten camp is experiencing it today as well as a year ago. So you need to understand that while Canada may have a very crisp image of a Mountie, and everybody, is excited about being Canadian, what that means is the blood of my people. That means vigils in our areas, like right in your backyards. I guarantee that there was somebody who's Indigenous who was recently, if not murdered, died of an overdose or died on the streets. Why? Because of colonialism and that constant surveillance of our people, that constant policing us, forcing us into reserves, forcing us into residential schools. Now, monitoring us so that they can apprehend our children at a given time. That's the reality of Indigenous today.
Reconciliation is not military occupation.
The whole reason that why everyone can come here to Canada and extract all of this is because for tens of thousands of years, Indigenous people have taken care of this land. Upstream from almost every reserve, there seems to be, an accepted amount of industry that poisons the water. So a lot of Indigenous people actually don't have access to clean water anymore, thanks to the work that Canadians have done without their consent.
Wet'suwet'en land is under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Wet'suwet'en GasLink. My name is Dali, I'm Wet'suwet'en, and I come from Gidimt'en territory, the territory that was raided last year by the police. I saw 14 of my friends and family members, my 72-year-old mother being one of them, violently arrested by the RCMP on unceded and sovereign Wet'suwet'en territory. Our territories were never ever surrendered. We've always made it clear, and the Canadian Supreme Court also made it clear and acknowledged that those are our territories, that they've always been our territories, and that our hereditary system has always been the integral part of making decisions of what happens on our territories. Unfortunately, the provincial government and the RCMP are not acknowledging that.
Shame!
Yes, exactly. And it's funny that they're not acknowledging it, since they're wanting to engage in title talks with us. And John Morgan spoke and said that they wanted to do it with the utmost respect. Well, I don't call invading somebody's territory respectful behavior. So I'm glad that everybody is out here today taking a stand and letting TC Energy know that this is not acceptable.
This is not acceptable! This is
Not acceptable!
So I would like to say from the Wet'suwet'en people, thank you so much for your solidarity and this action. And this isn't just about Wet'suwet'en people. This is about ensuring that we have a future.
Yes!
We're ensuring that the future is better for all of our young people and their children and everyone else to come. Exactly. 7 generations. We always look forward. And I just want to also express that there's a major conflict of interest with the stakes or the shares being sold to AIMCO, which is what I believe there are pension plans held by the RCMP, by judges, and those are the same people that are coming into our territories, that are invading, unwelcome people. So I want to make sure that everybody reaches out to your MPs and your MLAs and make sure that you're heard. Again, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Thank you.